So an interactive form control, it will show you, for example, a list, and from list you will see different charts. For example, if I show my completed sheet and go to my interactive form control sheet, you can see, for example, you can see here, this is a list of different data like wine variety and country and their average rating and average price. And what we did, we calculated the average rating of Australian wine. So for that we have to use average ifs that I will show you now, and we can do that for average price as well. So for average price, we selected like average ifs. So using the average ifs function, we can select like, for example, say Australia's average price. And then we have certain wine variety, so different wine variety we have, and based on that we have a chart. So now what we have, we'd like to create an interactive form chart. So interactive form control, if I click, for example, Marlot, the charts gets changed. You can see, for example, I'll select, say, Cider, I'll select Bordeaux, I'll select Red Blend. It's interactively changing. So how I can create that? So first, what I need to do, I need to create the average rating calculation. So that what I can do, go to my interactive form practice, and I'll do that. Here you can see the function like average ifs. You have to first see the syntax. So the syntax is average ifs. So average ifs and sum ifs are the similar syntax. So from average ifs, first you have to create the average range. So if you see, my average range is the average rating. So I want to know the average rating of Australian beer, Australian wine. So now from the average rating, I need to give the criteria range. Criteria range is that B section is my criteria range. Then I have to give the criteria. Criteria is F3. If you see, F3 is the criteria, which is Australia. Similarly, if I click here, my criteria is Chile. And then what I need to do, I need to give criteria 1. So criteria 1 is the wine variety, and I have different wine variety, the unique name. Here you have already seen how I can create the unique name from filtering. So you can create that. So I'll create that equal to average. So I'll do that average ifs. So from average ifs, if you see that there is another function is being used here, which is Vlookup function. So when I use one function within another function, it is called nested function. So this is, you can say, as a nested function. So why we are selecting a nested function? Because we'd like to see, say, if you look at only the Vlookup function, you can see the formula evaluation here. So if you go to formula evaluation, what you'll be able to see. So I'm selecting average ifs. So from average ifs, I would like to see Australia. So Australia is in the B column. Then if you select again evaluate, then I have another criteria, which is A. So in the A column, I need to know the wine variety. And that wine variety is actually selected here. For example, I want to know Bordeaux here and Australia. So how I can do that? So equal to average ifs. So when you come to average ifs and tab, you need to select the average range. So my average range is the average rating. So I'll select all this. So I select C2 to C81. Alternatively, I could select the whole column. So here I would like to do only for C2 to C81. Then I need to give criteria range. So what is my criteria range? My criteria range is the country. So my country is B2 to B81. Then I have to give the criteria 1. My criteria 1 is Australia, comma. So first I gave the average range, then the criteria range 1. First criteria range is the range where the column where the country remains, and then the criteria 1, the first criteria 1 is my Australia, and then I need to give another criteria range first. So criteria range first, then the criteria. So now I have to give the criteria range 2. So what will be my criteria range 2? My criteria range 2 is from A2 to A81. Now what will be my criteria? My criteria will be, what I can do, I can select this one, for example. So this will show as a borders. Alternatively, I could use the Vlookup function. For example, if I see this one, see what happens. It shows 88, the same thing, but it is not showing the similar number. So what I need to do, I need to select Vlookup function. So what I will do, Vlookup J2. What is J2? So J2 is my criteria. For example, it is 6 written as. Why it is 6? Because you can see a list. If I go to my completed, here you can see that Marlot. If I select Marlot, you can see it is 4. If I select red blend, it is select as 6. So this list box is connected with J2. So this J2 has to be connected with this J2. What is J2? J2 is the range. For example, if I select Bordeaux, so it is number 1, and red blend is in the number 6. So what I need to do, I need to create a form list, and that is connected with this JSS. I'll create that form list later. First, I will select the Vlookup function. So what you will do, after this criteria range, for example, say you selected C. First, you selected your criteria range, which is C column. Then you selected your criteria range. Criteria range is the B column, and then your criteria is F3. So after that, I need to give second criteria range. My second criteria range is A column. Now I have to give the criteria. For this criteria, I'm using a Vlookup function. So I'll type Vlookup. I'll select this one, and I will put F4 to make it fix. Then what I'll do, I'll select the whole range, comma. My column number will be 2, because in the column number 2, I'll see that number. By the way, I have to select this range from here. It should be K3 to K12. Then my column number will be 2. And also, I need to fix it. I need to give F4. So J3 and K12, it will be fixed. And now I have to create false. Bracket close. So this is the bracket close for Vlookup, then another bracket close for averages. So what is done? 87.8. Say I'm manually giving 7 here. You can see it's being changed. Why? Because 7 means Riesling. If I give it, for example, 8 means rose. So they want to show the average rating of rose beer from Australia. Similarly, if we do this for all this cell, this section shows average rose beer of Chile, average rating of France from average rating of rose from France. Then I need to create a list box here. So I'll create a list box here, and that list box will be connected with this cell. So for example, for list box, I need to go to developer tab. Many of your Excel workbook might not have developer tab. If you don't have developer tab, so what you need to do, you need to go to file, and you have to go to options. So when you go to options, you will go to customize ribbon. If you go to customize ribbon, you can see that here my developer tab is okay. So if you don't have this okay, you will click it and then okay. Then you will see a developer tab here. So since I have already built in, so you can see my developer tab. So you can do that at your workbook as well. If I select the developer tab, and from insert, there are a lot of form controls. So here, if you see, there are form controls like this one is button, this one is combo box. I'll look for list. So if you come here, you will see that there's a list box. So I'll select this list box and I'll create a list box here, for example, like this. So a list box is being selected now. I'll right click that list box and I'll select format control. If I select format control, it is saying as the input range. So what will be my input range? So my input range will be these wine varieties. And I need to select a cell link. So my cell link will be J2. If I click and then if I click OK, and if I select, say for example, Marlot, if you see, is a 4. If I select rows, this is 8. So this list box is connected with this J2 cell. And when I created the average if function, I connected this J2 with this Vlookup function. As a result, what I can see, whenever I'm selecting, say, Marlot here, I can check that what is the Marlot beer's average rating and price in different countries. And from this list, I have created a chart. So since this table is changing automatically, you can see that this table is automatically getting changed. So once this getting this one is changed. So once this is getting changed, so what I can do, this one is changed. So what I can do, I can select any of this list, and this the chart is automatically getting changed. So for example, if I select like cider, so when I select cider, this list is getting changed, and this chart is created from this list. So this is how I can create an interactive form control. So I'm sure many of you work with different budgeting tools, like what will happen in the next 6 months. My sales drop by 50%. I think at this moment is extremely helpful, because at this moment people don't know their sales forecast because of the COVID-19. So I don't know what will happen if my revenue drop by 50% in the next 6 months. Can I survive? So for those, you can see, you can create charts and you can create different list box. And also, for example, companies like if you are having a manufacturing company and you have different product line, you can see what will happen if I sell this product, if I sell this product, and so on. So based on certain criteria, you are creating an interacting form control, and this is a very nice tool to do that. So for that, you need certain function like average ifs and VLOOKUP. You need a developer tab, but the main catch is here with connecting the list box with this cell, and this cell is connected with this table, and this table is connected with this chart. So everything is connected. As you are changing one thing, the other things are getting automatically changed.